Hey guys, it's Will. Hopefully you're having a great day today. I'm here with my wife, Tammy. Say hello.
Hi, everybody.
And she is going to tell you about where she's from and who she is.
I am from Argentina, and today is my birthday, and that's only my.
It's her birthday today, so we decided to do a quick video where she's on the YouTube channel. And we're also, if you guys, uh, we're not selling her body, but if you want access to pictures, it's the second link. No, I'm just kidding.
I
Just,
thought you were not going to do that, but
I'm totally kidding. Um,
now I want to start over again.
okay,
And
so
you did it wrong. Because you were supposed to say today we are inaugurating her OnlyFans. We're not giving access
no,
to.
I don't even want to say that word, honestly.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, that was a total joke. We're gonna
No.
we're gonna be talking.
No, I mean we're gonna start it over, right?
No, we're gonna keep going.
But you're gonna edit that part, right?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
definitely edit
okay.
it. We're gonna ask her some questions about some stocks, and I'm going to see what she knows. We're all gonna see what she knows, and let's see how she does. So, first question: what do you think that most people don't realize about finances? That's good stuff. Let's start with finances.
What is it that people don't realize?
Yeah.
Um, I think probably that they match their time with money. That's one of the things that then the other one is
So
that
like
you
explain
need
that.
to
Like what is that? Time with money.
you shouldn't be getting paid per hour because your time is much more valuable than that. I really don't know how to like execute it. Execute it.
No, it's that yeah, so you're paid for the value you
Yeah,
bring, not for the time.
you're paid for the value you bring, not for the time. Then can I jump to the other
Yeah,
one that
go
I
for it.
think? I think that it's really important to manage your money. Look at it all the time. What you're doing with it, how how much you're spending, how much you're gaining. I think that that helps you so much into like being a frequency that makes you attract it more and make it more like a normal part of your life instead of just like, oh, today I'm gonna do this, get this, and the.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Like it's like the small details
Yeah,
and knowing that. It's like what do they say? It's like it's more important to manage when the amounts are small so that you're able to manage it when it's big. Because how are you going to be able
exactly.
to manage it when it's big if you can't manage it when it's small?
It's
Yeah.
such a good skill to have that actually.
Nah, that's a good way to look at it. Same thing with like anything you're doing. I feel like
Investing, for example.
business, if you like start a business, it's like small, like do things right when it's small and then when it's like bigger. But that's harder too because you're just learning so much. So it could be hard.
Do you
But
do you talk about what we listen to or Narangel and stuff?
yeah, I mean, so you guys know if you're part of Stockmate, which is the true link in the second link in the description, um, then you guys know each morning we go over quotes from, I don't know if I have it here. Yeah, I don't have them open, but we go over quotes from Earl Nightingale, a lot of people. Personal development, that's a big piece. But this is the question. So people don't realize that about investing. Okay. Now um when we get into investing, what do you think are the best things to invest in and why would you invest?
I think that the best things to invest. I'm so nervous actually.
Guys, you need to comment down below. Let her know that it's okay.
The best things I think is things that you feel like they are gonna keep revolutionating or evolving,
Hmm.
like things that you're like, oh, this is going to be really good for the environment, for the future. Like one time I was telling Wills, which stocks are you investing in? And you're like, oh, I have a couple ones like Coca-Cola. And I'm like, yeah, it's really good Coca-Cola, but you know that like Coca-Cola is like not good for your body and stuff. Why are you investing in that? Maybe in the future I don't
Yeah.
know, new generations will be like, Coca-Cola destroy 1%
Yeah.
of the earth environment because of plastics pollutions or whatever. And so
So I bought more Coca-Cola.
no,
I'm just kidding.
so now you are investing in, I think, the ones that are like progressive in technology and like AI and things like that. And I think that that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we usually like don't touch stocks that we think about ethics now a lot more.
Yeah.
But so that's you're saying stocks. That's one asset. What else do people uh
Wait, your question was about like which ones are the best, right? Like why would you do that one?
which so yeah, that's market wise. Yeah, that's market. So
And you
stocks.
think that was right?
Yeah, so stocks, but also what if they're thinking, "Oh, the only way to make money is stocks." They're probably not thinking that. But um what are some of the best assets that people can buy?
I would say something that is like your business, your own business.
Well, what are the importance? Why would someone buy assets? That's my question, actually.
I think it's you want your money to keep growing more than just like having a limit for it. Like a limit will be like, oh, I have $2,000 and I have to make it all the way to the end of the month without losing it. But instead, if you plant like more seeds in a metaphoric way of saying, with the money that you have, and you're like, oh, if I put like half of this into this will make me more money and it will make this month much easier, and I might have like more money for the other rest of it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the talents that you were talking about. God saying, hey, I'll give you one talent, I'll give you five to you. And the one that had one talent was like, all right, I'm gonna bury it and make sure that I have the talent to the end of the month. And the other one was like, all right, I'm gonna plant this talent here, I'm gonna do this with this talent and this with this talent.
Right, right. And then when God comes back, however long it was,
It's
then
like, what did you do? I got more talents, more skills, more opportunities, says one. And the other one is like, I buried mine so that I didn't lost it.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, it's like, and a lot of people we can get into assets and liabilities and all that stuff. Um,
What, do I know more than you thought I knew? Ah, just kidding.
always, you always know more than I think. Nah, she knows a lot. You know more than you think you know.
It's true.
Um, so okay, let's talk about this. We have all these markets here. Which one would you find to be the best one to invest in, and why?
Of these ones,
Yes.
if I had much more like, I don't know, information about each of them.
We'll just read through them. You got automotive, oil and petroleum,
No.
aviation, space,
All right, I feel like these are the best.
quantum,
Quantum, space
cloud
tech,
SaaS
aviation.
software, AI,
That one.
profitable cryptos. That sounds profitable.
Yeah.
Political profits. That sounds profitable. TikTok ban list.
What is a TikTok?
All the companies affected by the TikTok ban. Airlines. Stockmate picks.
Stockmate is the best, babe. Come on. That's the best stock.
All right, but you have to pick one of those.
It's literally going like this.
Which ones?
Oh, if I have to pick up,
Yes.
since we're working together and I get to see a lot of the background of how we do it, what it sounds to me like the best is Stockmate. Nah, just kidding. Quantum AI.
Quantum? You said quantum AI?
Oh, I know.
Is that your final answer? There's no repercussions. So
Space tech is not bad either.
yeah, that's where Ben works.
I would do it in quantum, space tech, profitable cryptos, because it sounds like profit.
Okay. All right, those are great answers. Which one is the one that you'd pick?
One I have to pick?
Yep.
All of this time I didn't know. What is quantum?
Okay, so she just asked me She just told me that her answer was quantum. That's what she told me.
Okay.
Okay. So, um, in quantum, do you want to keep going, or what are you curious about? Which one are you the most curious about?
Quantum.
Quantum? Okay.
Space tech too.
Space tech? Okay.
But I feel like I kind of like get an idea of space tech.
Yeah, like rockets.
Yeah, like they're
They're gonna
using
launch.
like yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna do satellites. They want to go to Mars.
I like that.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
Curiosity is always good because it keeps you like keeps the spirit flaming.
Yeah. Now this is tough because she's just biased because she's probably seen some of the videos. So then she's like, obviously I'm gonna go with X stock or this one. What do you know about quantum? We don't have to go there. What do you want to go next? Where do you want to go next in this video?
Where do I want to go next?
We don't even have to be here. Do you want to do something else? What do you think?
No, I mean let's do it about stocks. Like
Okay.
ask me good questions.
Okay. So there are two big industries, or I guess paths, not industries. There's many industries that quantum will affect. It affects every single industry in the whole world, basically. It affects space travel. It affects pharmaceuticals.
It affects in a good way or in a bad way?
In a good way.
Ah, okay.
It solves problems. So it's like a computer. It's extremely fast and can solve really big problems.
Wow, it's
And
like a brain.
yeah. And so there is a company that is finding the answer to vaccines for cancer. That company
Okay.
through quantum.
I have like a whole theory about that.
I'll walk you through. And they're doing that. And okay, that's industry. Do I want to go industry? They're all in so many different industries.
After you do it, like how you usually do.
Let me just go back to the two paths. So some of these companies are working on the actual computer. So picture the hardware, like the actual computer itself. Just like this computer we're on right now that we're looking at through the screen is a piece of electronic. It's actual electronic. But in order to use it, so that's the first piece, the actual hardware. Like the iPhone, it's an actual hardware piece that can do the stuff that it can do, and it's made up of different companies that build the iPhone. So that's one piece.
Is it the microchip?
Yeah, so that's the chip.
Quantum is a microchip?
Yeah, there's a QPU. It all comes down to.
This is the company that has the microchips?
Well, a lot of these companies are in the semiconductor space. Yeah. But so like that's a piece of it. That is a piece of it. And so there's a hardware is one path, but then you have the iPhone, or you have this screen we're looking through here. Now you have the actual software. What about the programs that run this, that we're able to look at this screen? Someone wrote code that made this hardware be able to go to its best ability. And someone made the App Store on the iPhone. Or someone took all of the hardware and said, let's create ChatGPT and have a software that collects all the data.
The information,
So the actual software. So there's two parts of the quantum computing. It's the hardware, the people that are making the actual phone and everything that goes into it. But it's not a phone. It's a computer, and it looks like... Let's see. It looks like this. That's how it looks. And
Rigetti.
So yeah, this is Rigetti. So this is and look, the chips. There's your microchips. You're saying there.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I heard you about talking about this a lot.
Yeah, and so this is the hardware.
Wow.
But then there's companies that Rigetti, they focus on the hardware, building this, but also the software as well. But there's also other companies that focus only on the software. So there's two things that we're going to have to become really good at with quantum computing. It's the hardware, and then it's the software. Being able to push the computer to do the things that we want it to do, to push it to the best of its ability to solve the problems. We have to have the software, that is these programs that can tell the computer where to run and how to run and what answers we're looking for and everything. So, which industry, which path do you think is going to be the biggest winner and the most profitable? The hardware or the software?
If it's a really good question that I think that everybody should ask themselves and go check on ChatGPT right now.
Should we open ChatGPT? That's what you said you wanted to do.
I do want to ask ChatGPT because why am I supposed to have all the data if we're creating literally a brain that has all the data in
Yeah,
it?
these could be like answers you could find.
Let's check it out.
Okay, so
Because if I say software or hardware, it would literally be a guessing.
okay,
And
so
I don't want to guess. So
you,
I
you,
want fact.
you should type the question.
What was the question?
That's what you have to remember.
Oh, wow. What would be the best path? You said path.
Sure, yeah, you can use it however in your own words.
For quantum,
Yeah.
hardware, or software? Right? Is that
Yeah, we're talking about it. Okay, let's go.
when deciding between focusing on hardware or software? In the quantum space, the best path depends on specific goals, resources, and expertise. So the hardware involves developing the physical systems that power quantum computing. High barrier entry, significant long-term payoff.
Yeah, so right now it's hard for someone to come and build one of these quantum computers. There's only a few players like IBM, Google, Rigetti. So you have to create the hardware. Imagine trying to create the hardware of the iPhone. They've been working on it for years and years and years and years, making it better and better and better. It's pretty hard. So,
and even though all of these years, people still complain about how like they can still do it better.
Right, and maybe they do. People say, "Oh, that they could do the iPhones better."
Yeah.
It's like people. Well, yeah.
Like I
don't
have
use the
seen,
iPhone.
I have seen videos that they are like, "Oh yeah, it's still the same since 2010. It's the same iPhone, something like that."
Yeah. The specs do improve. People say that, but specs do improve. So, IONQ is hardware. Rigetti stock is hardware. QBTS stock is hardware. QUBT is hardware. Now, there's some other ones here that IBM is hardware. There's some that are related to software, like QSI.
Apple. Just kidding.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do both, but they're not
iOS.
in quantum.
iOS.
So that's now what about the software? The software, they have to develop algorithms, applications, frameworks that leverage quantum computers.
It's like a Microsoft thing going on.
Yeah, kind of like when they developed the first personal computer.
It's like an update thing.
Yeah, like Microsoft, or in this case, we have iOS that we run.
Yeah.
iOS is the operating system for Apple. So, lower barrier to entry. So, it's not as hard to start developing software for quantum computers. Now, I would say that that kind of shows that the hardware path is harder. That is a harder problem to work on the actual hardware than it is to create software. Software is going to be valuable, but the hardware is going to be really important.
Okay.
So the most,
Oh, so the best path will be hardware.
yep, because they solve the biggest problem.
Mm.
That will be the biggest initial problems is getting the supercomputers. Not just that they have a ton of microchips or a ton of, they call them qubits, but that each chip or each qubit has fidelity. They like works really, really good. And
Yeah.
if they do that, then they can just keep improving. It's like Nvidia.
Oh yeah.
Nvidia is the biggest hardware company, and that's why they're the most valuable company, even more than Apple, more than Tesla,
Wow.
more than Google.
Because it's like the source of everything.
Exactly.
When you're like the
Exactly.
source, you have to be important.
Yep. Exactly. So now my question is, do you think that we should continue the video? Or
Is
do you
that a
want to go?
question that he has to ask me?
What's another question? Uh,
Babe, did you prepare something for this video?
yeah, we're very prepared. Let me get out my notebook and see what we had said about this video. So, first, we said we are going to go over your investment philosophies, and I'm just looking at a blank book.
Yeah, I know, and I'm just
So,
faking it because I'm like, all right, baby, I will follow. Oh, if you're going to rob a bank, I'm with you, you know? Anything.
What's new with you?
It's my birthday. I'm no longer 25. Now
What have you
I'm
learned
26.
in your 25 years? What are some of the most important lessons that people should know by the time they're in their 20s, but by any time? The most valuable lessons you learned by 25
I
that you
think
wish you knew earlier. That if you had known earlier would have changed things. Oh, go ahead.
I love that. I love that. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think that one of the most valuable things I've been learning lately is being present. Like, I didn't know how important it is to be present and how badly the past thoughts or thoughts about the past can affect you. Oh, thank you, baby, for putting the camera. Now I can see. I don't look. Okay, all right. I think that the most important is being present, surrounding yourself with the right people is so important. I didn't know. I mean, you're one of the best people I ever met, and surrounding myself with you has not only taught me so much, but made me a better person and version of myself. Ay, no sé ni qué estoy diciendo. Meeting you has made me a really good version of myself because a lot of things that I used to do that I'll be like so hard on myself and like punishing myself really bad for it. You're like, oh, baby, it's okay. We all make mistakes. Or like, well, you learn, right? And for me, it's like, you're not gonna just like make me feel really bad for what I did and just hold on into that negative feeling that I have. It's like you help me let go of those things. And also, I see you always nurturing your mind and your wisdom. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but like you're always nourishing
Yeah.
your wisdom.
I
Like
could say the same about you.
you're
Too.
always like listening to Aaron Arangel, to Jordan Peterson. Like you listen to the right people all the time, and I think that that's what today I was doing that, and I already changed my whole frequency. Like I was listening to Alan what?
Alan Watts.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's such good, like some of the best stuff we listen to is from like the 50s or the 70s, like older stuff.
He talks about the present a lot.
Alan Watts even talks about quantum stuff too.
Really?
Yeah. Just like how we're experiencing
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah, and it says reality is not this ping. It's ping. And it goes and it goes and it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like the future, like don't focus on the future. The future is now and things like that.
Ooh, that was
And
good.
also Ernangel talks a lot about like don't let your negative thoughts about the past hold you back, and it's okay to change, it's okay to transform and to become different, and it might feel like a loss, but it's actually a gain because you're experiencing something that you never experienced, and it's okay, and it doesn't have to be how it was.
Yeah, I would say it's only a waste if you don't at least like learn something from it.
Like,
Like people say that there's no such thing as failures. There's only learning experiences. That's true, but people that see things as a failure is a failure, they're like, yeah, it was a failure, and then they don't learn from it. It actually was a failure.
that is a failure,
Yeah,
yeah.
so there actually is failures. But
John C. Maxwell says that.
oh yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
a
Well, he
really
has
good
a lot
book.
of stuff on like failing to success or
I
things
really
like that,
failing forward.
with
I
like
really recommend it.
reiterating, going and going, and the faster you go through failures,
I was telling Wills that for my 20s, I'm going to spend a lot of time reading and like nourishing my brain with like good thoughts or like improving mindsets, fixed mindset.
yeah. So on top of that, um, what do you think people that like, because like your background, like
Hmm.
we don't have
No,
to
I love it.
we don't have to talk about
No,
it.
yeah, let's go for it. I mean, it's part of what made me who I am today, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think a really good thing that people can find from like Tammy's background will be like that you will have the more experiences you have in the present moment or in your present, to be able to look at them as learning experiences, but then also connect the dots and say, now that makes sense. But also not be looking so hard to be like, oh, why didn't that make sense? But just when it comes in the present moment, you're like, oh, now I learned that. That makes sense. Not attaching so much to be like, I really need to figure it out, but just trusting yourself
Oh, yeah, trust the
and
process.
just kind of going through. I feel like that's a big thing. But yeah, you should go ahead. What
What?
was saying?
I don't know.
So like,
You asked me that question about what's the best advice for turning 26.
yeah. So
Get married.
what was? We could talk about that.
Marry the right person you would never regret.
What's the hardest? What was the hardest part about getting married?
The hardest part?
Yes.
I think that it's a really good question because at the beginning I was like, "Oh, I'm too young for this, like I don't know if I should be married or anything. I'm like, I'm a free girl. I do whatever I want. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like, yeah, I'm making a really good decision, but I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it, but like when you're 23, you're like, yeah, I haven't experienced that much. Why do I have to get married or anything? That's how I felt at the
Yeah.
beginning.
And there's also like valid points about like social construction and
Yeah, and because of social contraction and construction and all of that, I feel kind of embarrassed. Sometimes. Sometimes people will ask me and I'll be so proud, like, yes, I'm married. And sometimes I don't know if it's the energy of the other person or the intentions of the other people that are like, oh, you're married? Like, you're married? Like, you're really
yeah.
young or something. And I'm like,
Depends on the generation too. Because
yeah,
like
the
if you talk
generation.
with like an older generation, they're like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I got married when I was like 18 or something
That's
like that.
exactly.
Which
Well,
I think that's extreme. Like
no,
you
yeah,
have to
totally.
know and see things more. But
Well, with you was like different too, babe. Like, we met in quarantine. We were like together 24 hours
right.
for an entire year.
But when you would talk with somebody that's like younger, they would be like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about that." Sometimes, not always, but I feel like that's at least what we ran into. But when you look at what you just said, quarantine, uh, the hardest part about getting married.
Oh, the hardest?
Yeah.
Well, the hardest was for me, trust. trust was really hard because sometimes I feel like get insecure and I'm like, oh, he's gonna leave me. As soon as he gets this, as soon as his life is going better, he's gonna notice that I'm not enough or anything and he's gonna leave me. That's what I thought many times. And it's terrible to think that way. And now I'm like, more, I wanna reframe that. And I'm like, what can I do for myself to not attach my whole life into like this marriage or you leaving me or not? And so I'm like, live the present moment. You're with him right now. You both love each other right now. You both trust each other. You're in a good frequency. Just like enjoy the moment and like leave it instead of worrying, oh, in the future he's gonna leave me. Oh, in the future this is gonna happen. Oh, but in the past I did this. I told him I didn't want to be with him. He's gonna hold that back towards me or things like that, you know? And this is what I've been dealing with
Yeah.
for a while.
Well, I mean, that's just when you grow up in a place that has like instability, then that's really normal to
Yeah.
feel. So, um, yeah, it's funny. Like with my parents, they were like always like separating, not fully divorcing, but like still staying enough together to where they'd be like, we'll make it work. Um,
Oh.
and then like, do you want to talk about your parents? Or,
No, no, no. Keep going, keep going.
um, but
It
like,
makes me think, and I like thinking.
yeah. So I mean, for me, like I had probably more stability there. So I'd have to look more for growing up. Like I had different, a lot of attention was around work for my for my dad, and so
Mm-hmm.
he was always gone for the most part, working out of town,
Yeah.
and that's just how he is. And then a lot of so that, but it was like so much so too with how he worked that he also was working, and he works in mostly like blue collar. So he works in things where he is exchanging his time for money a lot, which me learning like entrepreneurship, business was like that's like kind of the opposite of how I've looked at earning money. So
Yeah.
it's like then you have so you can't always learn. Then you have, for example, my mom, she was a flight attendant, so she traveled a lot. She
Yeah.
always told me to travel, and then she also started a business, a few businesses I think, some of which like did okay. They're not like still going because she wasn't able to keep them up, because there was also like with that she was being a mom, and since my dad was always gone a lot, there was only so much that was able to be managed. So there was
Yeah.
like a lot of like that. And so, but so you can't, I have the luxury of being able to go to my parents for certain advices. And you can give like certain
Yeah.
advices. It's like, oh, I talked to my dad about that. Like, how do I like push through this in working or something?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, or it's like talking about my health to my mom because she had a store where she had tea and herbal stuff and all that. So I could call her
Yeah.
and be like,
Yeah.
yo, what's up with this? And she'll be like, do that.
Which
Um,
all of this brings to like, don't take advice from people that are not with the same standards that you
yeah,
are.
yeah. That's where
Like,
it's going.
I don't think I have met many happy marriages, or like, I don't know if it's about happy marriages, but like successful marriages. I never met anybody, but in person, uh, but we listen to like really good entrepreneurs that are like in the same page that you and I are,
Right.
and that helps so much.
Yeah, like listening to people for what you that have the things that you want. When you
Yeah.
listen to people that have the things that you want, then you already know that they have the experience to give you the right answer. It's like if I call an uncle who is divorced, and I'm like, and I'm not like calling out any uncles or anything, but I'm like, hey, I'm having this trouble with my wife and I want to know what you think. And because he got burned in the past, and she like slashed his tires and took all his money and got on a plane to another country. So he's like, leave that be. Like, get
He's
out
gonna
of there.
take your money. She's gonna
Yeah.
do this.
And then I'm like, oh, yep. Like, and people do that. They'll take advice quite blindly, or talk to people and not ask themselves a simple question of like, does this person
Yeah,
have the result that I want?
totally.
Yeah.